You ever find yourself scrolling online and you just stumble across a story that is so wild, so completely baffling, you have to stop and think, wait, how? How did things even get to this point? Right? We see these huge human conflicts play out all the time. But the outrage, the drama, it often hides something deeper, a fundamental pattern. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and find it. Okay, let's start with this one. A real story. A husband decides, all on his own, to throw away his wife's birth control. And his reason? He said he knew she wanted kids deep down better than she knew herself. It's a shocking thing to do, for sure. And honestly, it's just the tip of the iceberg. But what is really going on here? So you have that story, and then you have this one. A bride who demands her friend lose 30 pounds just for a wedding photo. I mean, on the surface, these seem like they're from different planets, right? One is this deep, personal violation of trust in a marriage. The other feels like some extreme bridezilla reality TV show. But believe it or not, they are connected by the exact same invisible thread. And that's what we're going to uncover. So, the first pattern you start to see when you dig into these stories is this idea of unreasonable expectations. And I'm not just talking about having high standards. No, this is about demanding actual control over someone else's life, their body, their choices. What's so telling about this story isn't just the demand itself, which is already way over the line. The truly wild part is that the bride acted shocked when her friend said no. It's like in her mind, her desire wasn't a request, it was a rule that her friend was just supposed to follow. That shock says everything about her worldview. And you see this pattern build in our next example. Here, it's not about someone's body, but it's about their taste, their big life moment. The mother-in-law doesn't just offer her opinion. By calling the dress cheap on the day of the fitting, she's trying to hijack the entire experience, imposing her own standards and just bulldozing her future daughter-in-law's happiness. And here's where it really escalates into emotional manipulation. I mean, a baby's name is about as personal a decision as you can get. But the sister, she frames her demand as this beautiful tribute, but really, she's using it as a weapon. She's leveraging grief and threatening to pull her support from one of the biggest moments in her sibling's life, all because she didn't get her way. But, sometimes these fights go way beyond just unreasonable demands. They cross a line into much darker territory. We're talking about fundamental violations of privacy, of safety, and of trust. This isn't just about expectations anymore. This is about betrayal. Get this. For 20 years, this guy's entire childhood was basically published online for anyone to see, all without his permission. This isn't just a parent oversharing a few cute photos. This is a massive, long-term violation of his privacy, of his right to tell his own story. It got so bad he ended up suing his own parents over it. This one is just chilling. You have a clear-cut crime here. A landlord is installing hidden cameras. The roommate gets evidence, actual proof. But when he confronts the landlord, he gets hit with a classic manipulation tactic, gaslighting. He's told he's just paranoid. They're trying to make him doubt his own sanity, even with video evidence in his hand. And this brings us to what might be the ultimate violation. A family literally demanding a part of someone's body. The daughter has a complicated, distant relationship with her father, and yet she's being pressured to have major surgery to give him an organ. And when she says no, they call her selfish. This isn't about family duty. It's a complete denial of her most basic right to her own body. So, you've got the husband with the birth control, the bride demanding weight loss, the parents posting photos for decades, the daughter being pressured for a kidney. I mean, these situations are all over the map. What on earth could possibly be the one thing that ties all of this chaos together? Every single one. Every single one of these conflicts is a story about personal boundaries. More specifically, they're about what happens when those boundaries are ignored, disrespected, or just completely violated in the most dramatic ways imaginable. The easiest way to think about boundaries is like a property line. It's the invisible line around your physical, your emotional, and your mental space. It defines where you end and another person begins. They are the rules of engagement that basically tell people what's okay and what's not okay and how they treat you and what they can expect from you. Okay, so understanding this isn't just about analyzing wild stories you find online. This is actually one of the most critical skills for navigating our own lives, our own relationships. So why is this so important? The difference becomes so clear when you put healthy requests and boundary violations side by side.
So on one side, you have a healthy expectation. I'd love for you to be my maid of honor. It's an invitation, right? But on the other, a boundary violation. You must lose 30 pounds for my wedding. That's a command. Or a healthy request. I'm scared and I really need support from my family. Compare that to a violation. You must give me your kidney or you're selfish. The difference is respect. It's respect for the other person's freedom to choose.
Look, ultimately, it all comes down to this. Boundaries are not walls that you build to keep people out. They are guidelines that teach people how to stay in your life respectfully. They protect your sense of self-worth by letting you say, I deserve to be treated better than this. They build real mutual respect. They stop that slow burn of resentment from building up. And they are the absolute non-negotiable foundation that trust is built on.
All these really dramatic stories, they're like a magnifying glass for these smaller, everyday moments in our own lives. From a coworker who keeps taking credit for your ideas to a relative who asks really invasive questions at family gatherings. So the final thought I'll leave you with is this. Where in your own life are your property lines being crossed, and what is the cost of not defending them?